So I wanted to come on here and give you my thoughts and review on the release, and it was released as of a little over 12 hours ago, the Fan Sonic comic dub. That's right, the Fan Sonic comic dub of Archie Sonic Online's Sonic the Hedgehog number 50, or number 250, I should say. Now, if you're wondering, what I mean by that, well, just to give you guys a bit of a quick recap, Archie Sonic Online, as I've mentioned before, and as I've mentioned before, is a fan continuation website that basically takes the concepts of the original post-soft reboot, soft retcon series of Sonic the Hedgehog, which Archie was producing up until 292, overall, along with the various spin-offs, and they're basically continuing the story or stories as basically where they originally left off. For example, the 250th issue of Sonic the Hedgehog, the Archie version, the pre-soft reboot version, takes place several issues after 247, where the official one pretty much brought the entire Mecha Sally, World Tour II, Death Egg Mark II story arc to a close, abruptly, to do a crossover with Mega Man, the Worlds Collide one. And of course, this was something that, the crossover there was something that Ian, I think he wanted to do, but it was also something that both Sega and Capcom had, along with Archie, had agreed to do, since Archie had, the publication rights to both, franchises at that time. To them it made sense. And it was also basically a more ingenious way of getting around the whole behind the scenes legalization, the behind the scenes legalization, if you will, that was going on with Ken Penders and Archie and Sega and all of them, and thus a way to remove a lot more of what Ken Penders and other artists and writers before him had brought to the table during their time with the book. And this actually all started several issues before with the Endangered Species arc, in which we were supposed to see Julie Sue, Knuckles' girlfriend, be involved, but instead she ended up, because she's a Ken Penders character, she ended up being removed via Deus Machina kind of. Well, I wouldn't say Deus Machina, but I would say she was removed by freaking plot device, unnecessary plot device, but one from a legal standpoint that had to be there. As well as, like I said earlier, I did the video on the whole, looking back 10 years on the whole Mecha Sally deal a couple days ago. Basically, the other plan that, Ian Flynn had, as far as Ken Pender's characters being involved in the story arc were concerned, instead of Lita and Lyco, and that's Lita, that's Leeta, and Lyco, that's Lyco, C-O, I should say, that, instead of them being the ones that were following, Sonic, Tails, and Amy while they were going after the Death Egg to try to rescue Sally, instead, it was originally supposed to be Hershey the Cat. That's right, Hershey the Cat was supposed to make a return in that story instead of the two wolf twins, but because of the litigation between both sides, Hershey got removed from the equation. And simultaneously, believe it or not, unexpectedly, so did Jeffrey St. John. And one thing Ian Flynn tried to do was find creative ways to get around the situation, and to basically try to keep certain characters, in the story as best he could, but he couldn't. So long story short, basically that's what, the Archie Sonic Online series is about. They're basically taking the concepts that, Ian Flynn has come out and said, and talked about, along with others like Ben Bates and Tracy Yardlin and all of them. And, he's basically, and basically the Archie Sonic Online staff is, bringing them into the storylines and combining them with their own interpretations, their own ideas of how they feel things could have gone, further on in the stories had things not been abruptly interrupted and stuff like that. They also do, other series as well. Sometimes they'll do, a comic series based on storylines that were part of the main Sonic comic. Like I mentioned, the whole Julie Sue situation, where they've taken that, the endangered species arc, and basically gave it its own Knuckles mini comic. They're taking Sonic Universe and they're focusing that more on redeeming Bunny and bringing her back into the picture. Although they had to kind of go backwards recently to give us the 50th issue with Sonic Universe, which focused on the Sonic Underground finale that Ian Flynn originally wanted to do. But like I said, they had to combine ideas of his and their own to kind of bring it all together. So just a whole bunch of craziness and reasoning as to why you have Archie Sonic Online, places like this, fan sites like this that are stepping up to the plate and doing these kind of things. Now, as far as the Fandub goes, like I said, Archie Sonic Online are not the only ones stepping up to the plate. For years, decades almost, fans themselves have stepped up to the plate together to do what is known as comic dubs, fan dubs, if you will, of certain stories in the comics, and they do magnificent jobs. And most of these stories that they've done comic fan dubs on have been from the official books and everything, and like I said, they do a magnificent job. And ever since Archie Sonic Online has come into being, they've basically done the same thing with them. And this time around with issue 250, issue 250, which again is the continuation of the pre-soft reboot. They do a magnificent job. The people that voice Sonic, Sally, Nicole, Mina, the King and the Queen, Tails, Eggman, all of them, Jeffrey, Elias, everyone involved, they do a magnificent job. They do a great job, and I have to give all the credit to them. Now the fandub. Well, the one thing about fandubs is they do follow panel for panel, scene by scene of what the original comic that we would read, goes by. But it's accompanied basically by fans voice acting, fans doing the voices for the characters. And like I said, they do a magnificent job here. The girl that did Sally, I think her name is DB or something. I can't think of her name. She did a fantastic job. She to me, and let me see if I can find this. Let me mute this so I don't get no copyright situations or anything. Let me see if I can get the credits here for a second. Hold on for a sec. Okay, D Lee, she did a magnificent job at, as Sally. I'm not going to say any more than that. She did a magnificent job. She really made us feel from now a more, vocal expression and bringing to life expression of how Sally feels. I mean, the fact that, with Sonic and then with Knuckles, she had to basically let it all out, you know, she had to let it all out. I mean, she kind of briefly did say that when she reunited with, Tails and Rotor along with Sonic, and basically let them know that, hey, I was aware of everything I did. And then for her to fully go into breaking down on that with Knuckles in the backup story to accompany her breakdown moment with Sonic, you really feel for her because, she knew what she was doing, but she just couldn't do nothing of it. And she's just basically you feel her shame, you feel her guilt of the fact she allowed Eggman to do this to her, in which her only intention was to save the planet, even at the cost of her own freedom. And her main goal was to save her friends and her family, and the planet she loved from complete robotization. That was her only goal. All that she had in mind. She had no idea or no intentions that she had no idea or intentions that Eggman was going to do stuff further with her, and yet he did. And that's what she's really ashamed of. It's like she's proud of the fact that she put herself first. Sonic even reminds her. And Jacob Berkeley, the guy that's doing I think it's the same Jacob Berkeley. Yeah, it is. Jacob Berkeley, who's doing the complete history of Sonic's SAT-AM history book, you know, he does a magnificent job as Sonic, and Sonic basically has to tell her that, what that was, that Mecha Sally, that really wasn't you, because the Sally, that did get roboticized initially, even though he didn't really allude to that in the original comic read, and as well as the comic dub. He's telling her, look, the real you sacrificed yourself to save the planet. You sacrificed your own freedom for the planet. What you became thanks to Eggman, or what Eggman did to you later on, that's not the real you. No, that's not the real you. That was something that, Eggman tried to use to get a mental edge. Now, like I said, in the original comic read as well as in the comic dub, Sonic doesn't say that, but still you kind of get the idea of what he's talking about. And then you follow that up with the third backup story they have in here, where she's called Birds of a Feather, where she's talking to Knuckles, and Knuckles is basically reminding her of what he went through, and that he knows where she's coming from. I think who did Knuckles? Who did Knuckles here? Let me see if I can find the person that did Knuckles. I know the scripted here. Geeky Sonic, yeah, Geeky Sonic did a great job on him, and like I said, I love that. I love that moment between them, because he's like, look, I know where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from, but you can't let yourself wallow in this pity of guilt all you want, for as long as you want. You need to, get out there and, relive your life. You got to get out there and enjoy life again. And you got friends just like me that are going to be there to support you. And he has to tell her that, hey, yeah, I felt guilt as well when I was turned into Interjack. I felt guilt when I was turned into Interjack and all that. And I felt like, I shouldn't be around people, and I should just remain on the island. But it took his friends to basically get him out of that funk. And day by day, even currently, while he's talking to her in the story, things are getting better. And that's basically what he's letting her know, that, hey, yeah, you could stay in this wallow of self-pity, for what happened, or you can get out there, let your friends, get out it back into the world, and let your friends help you regain your life that you lost and get back to normal day by day. And I like, and I like what you're getting out of those scenes. I mean, even though Knuckles didn't really say that to that extent in the original comic read and the dub, just like Sonic, as I mentioned earlier, didn't say some of the things that, I feel he was trying to get across in the original comic read and dub. Still, you get the message that they're telling Sally, look, we know where you're coming from. We understand what you've been through, but guess what? Those things that you did, that thing that you were, wasn't you. That Mecha Sally wasn't you. Just like Knuckles is saying this, Interjack person wasn't him. Or, Sonic in a way, in his own kind of weird way, like I said, even though he doesn't say it in the original comic read or dub, he's basically saying, he's basically saying, look, even when I was Mecha Sonic, that wasn't me. And I know that. I'm aware of that. So they're basically trying to let her know that they're trying to let her know that, look, what you did, yeah, you may have been aware of it. I mean, even Knuckles, when he was Interjack, says he was aware of what he was doing, just like Sally reiterated earlier to her friends. Even though he was aware of what he was doing, there was nothing he could do about it, just like she couldn't. Even though she was aware of what she was doing, she couldn't do nothing about it to stop herself. She couldn't, stop herself from doing this or that, even though she was aware of it. And this is where some of the excuse me, this is where some of the imagery comes in, if you will, from a fan art perspective. Because there is one fan art that's out there that has Sally, and I think this correlates with when she's ordered as Mecha Sally by Eggman to hunt down and kill her brother and her family. You have this image, this fan art image, where she's standing in the doorway of the hut as Mecha Sally getting ready to attack. But then on top, you see this like astral plane visual, visual, I guess you could say, image of the real Sally screaming and crying like, no, don't make me do this kind of deal. And and that basically, to me, represents what, Knuckles is telling her in the Birds of a Feather story. That's the third backup story of this issue, as well as what maybe Sonic, in his own unique way, tries to comfort her with as well. He tries to comfort her with as well. Oh, by saying, look, that wasn't you, because again, she wasn't, like she said, and Knuckles kind of backed it up. You weren't aware of what you were doing, which is true. Which is true. So overall, though, um, the comic dub of this issue, I thought, like I said earlier, was magnificently voiced by all the people involved, from Jacob Berkeley, D. Lee, Geeky Sonic, B. Skipper, Amanda Panda 099, Big Boy Buff Boy, uh, Resentico. I can't pronounce the name. I do apologize. Mishniko Nicole, who was done by Mackenzie B. E, if you will, because they don't say Nicole. They have it kind of cast in a way where the characters' names on the right side, and the voice actors' names on the left side. They kind of messed up here with Nicole's. So Nicole was voiced by Mackenzie. Mackenzie Be Made for Each Other Forever. Let's see, who else did they have? Trying to see. As well as Home 3 Store for Horn 3 Star or Star 4 Horn 3 ST4R did a great job in what he did as Maximilian Acorn, and the spirits, the agnognous spirits that comprise Naugus. Basically, what basically we get in the official version, as well as here. We basically get the idea that Naugus is actually a merged form of different Axis wizards from the past. So you have Home 3 ST4R that did a great job there, as the Agnogus, Rhino, and Sagranen Lobster, as well as King Maximilian, and all the other characters are voiced. Aquata Dubs did a great job as Mina. Vanilla Baba VA did perfect as the parents of both Sonic and Sally, the mothers, that is, of Sonic and Sally. And Mouse 413 and Jay Flowers 3 did great jobs, as Cheese and Big. Overall, each person did a magnificent job, in their roles. I mean, Geeky Sonic, Jacob Berkeley, and D. Lee, they, I say this with all due respect, they top the list when it comes to the people that brought their A game with this story. They really did, and I can't wait to see more of this in the future. I really can't. I really can't wait. But overall, like I said, this Fandub bringing the 250th issue under the Archie Sonic Online, the ASO line. The community bringing this to life was just top notch, just top notch, job well done, in my opinion. And I can't say any more than that. I really can't. So I'm going to link it down below later on. Maybe not immediately, but later on, so you guys can check it out yourselves. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and give you my thoughts on it. Again, if you have not read the 250th issue, I highly recommend you do it. Go to archiesoniconline.com. You will find it there. It is worth reading. I mean, the one thing about the Archie Sonic Online error, if you will, done by the fans here, is they try to keep true to the original vibe that the Archie books had given us, both pre-soft reboot and even post-soft reboot, because they're even working on some Sonic Universe issues that take place post-soft reboot, and the ones they're primarily working on, as we speak, deal with the individual Freedom Fighter stories that comprise one full-part arc. basically with the characters like Sonic and Antoine together, and I think Sally is supposed to be with Tails, I think, stuff like that, and then Bunny goes to Blaze's world. You get the idea. So they're working on that, as we speak, because that was the original next step before things went, askew, went haywire, if you will. So that's what they're working on next, as far as some of the future stories that got going. They're working on the 52nd issue of the Sonic Universe run, the story arc with, featuring Bunny Rabbit coming back from, hiding, coming back from being in the Dark Legion or undercover in the Dark Legion because she wanted to get her cybernetics back. It's called, Rabbit Rebound, I think. So they're working on that. They're working on the next issue of Sonic the Hedgehog 252, which is a conclusion, potentially, the overall story arc, because the last we checked in there, Nagas basically had, not Nagas, but the Ag-Nagas spirits had basically said, we're going to take it from here, and they basically mutated Jeffrey's body into this grotesque giant version of him and everything, and that's kind of revealing the truth as to what's going on. And we also saw the return of Hershey in it, so that was good, but at the worst kind of time, if you will. So we're going to get resolution to that, hopefully a lot sooner than expected. If there's one common complaint some people do have about this, and I think I've mentioned about it in the video before, is the timing. It's like, it's like we all get that, a lot of the people involved have to, work on other things, and, sometimes real life gets involved, and that has to come first. That becomes the main priority. And it does cause a lot of the time frame to kind of be extended a lot longer. So I think the one common complaint that a lot of people have is, they want this to be done quicker. They want it to get out a lot quicker. Like, if you have to do it every 6 months, then so be it. Like every 4 to 6 months, then so be it. Like to them, if you have to, wait till till about the first 6 months in to release one issue, and then wait till the end of the year to release the next issue, then that's fine with them. Or if you can do it quicker towards 4 issues, towards not 4 issues, but towards an issue every 4 months, to them at least you can get maybe 3 out, at best. But yeah, that's the only common complaint that they have, is the length of the issues and how long they take to get out there. But the one thing we have to remember is they're working on constant issues. They are. They're not like the real Archie comics. They're not like DC comics. They're not like IDW comics or Image or Marvel or anything like them. They don't have a multitude of people on staff, day in and day out, working on these 24. I wouldn't say 24/7, but working on these 12/7, if you will, every day, to get it out at a certain time strain. They have, like I said, they have other priorities, and sometimes some of those priorities are real life, or they have real jobs, stuff like that. So, that's the only common complaint they have. A lot of people have about it, and just pray and hope over time maybe things will get picked up a lot quicker, and maybe we might see these issues, or at least 1 or 2 or 3 issues out a lot sooner. But the key thing here when it comes to ASO, Archie Sonic Online, is patience. That's what it is. But overall, the dub, like I said, is done magnificently well, and I do recommend checking it out. So until next time, guys, let me know how you feel down below in the comment section, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Check me out at BW Roses Discussion, all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Check me out at BW Roses on Patreon.com if you want to help donate there, as well as BW Roses on VENMO. And check me out at my VENMO if you want to help donate there as well. So until next time, guys, God bless, take care, I'll talk to you later.